In this quick video, we will explore blocking or non-blocking query execution approaches when running SQL statement using data frame objects. We all know that the Snowpark lazily evaluates data frame operations when an action is invoked, for example, show function or collect function or count function. If we have a lot of such action operations, they will run one by one. So action 1 is called. It waits for the result from Snowflake. Once it is done, second action is called. It awaits the response from Snowflake. So all those things happens in a very sequential manner, and this approach is called blocking way. And this way, the next operation cannot be executed unless the previous action is completed. However, there are cases where we fire and forget, and we don't have to wait for the execution result, and we would like to proceed further. For example, you may have a long and complex computation which we want to fire and forget, or you want to delete a large data set which you want to fire and forget and moves forward. To achieve this kind of goal, the Snowpark provides a feature called non-blocking operation, and that's what we are going to cover in this short video. Welcome back to my channel Data Engineering Simplified and to this Snowpark playlist. Let's switch to our VS Code. So this is my Snowpark program which has the standard import. This is for enabling the logging, and I am using logging level as info. This is my connection object. This is my session. I am actually querying my customer table, creating a parameter dictionary, and running a collect statement on my customer DF to get a customer list. This is what our standard Snowpark program looks like. To try the non-blocking approach, I have created a couple of customer table, starting from handful of rows to millions of rows. Then only we can simulate the non-blocking approach. Let's go back to Snowflake and check how my customer table looks like. So I have 4 customer table. Customer underscore 10 has 10 rows, and customer underscore 1M has 1 million rows. And let's see how the customer data looks like. So standard data set, customer ID, salutation, name, date of birth, birth country, email, and referred flag. Let's go back to our VS Code. What if I have to run a collect statement, but I don't have to wait for the result? For that, I have to use a method called collect underscore nowait rather than using collect. And if you hover, collect underscore nowait also takes exactly the same parameter what the collect takes. The return type is async job. And let me uncomment this. Here, the return type is list of rows. I would like to print what is the object type of this async job, and if I have to fetch the query ID, I can write async job.query, and I would like to know whether the query is executed or not. I can still use this object called async underscore object is done method, and if I have to really get the result, I can write async.result. It will fetch all the result on my screen. Let's run this Snowpark program. If you look into the result, async type is nothing but snowflake.snowpark.async job, and this is the query ID which is printed by line number 40 here. So this is my query ID, and then is done. Yes, it is false when I invoked it, and the number of first chunk is 10. Now this we are not printing. This is coming from Snowpark's logging, and finally when I say logging.info async underscore job result, this result is printed. So the result is nothing but a list of a row object, and that's what we generally get it from collect method. Async.result can bring different kind of result based on what time you are actually calling this method. It may have a result list row, iterator row, any, or iterator any. We will cover this method in detail in future chapters, but for now I wanted to show you how the async job works when you call collect underscore nowait. Now we would like to query 1 million rows from our customer table. For that, I am going to use a new logging configuration where my log messages will be captured in a log file, and this is my log file name. And I am going to try 1 million. Let's run this. So since everything is going into the log file, let me quickly open the log file. So this is my log file, and this is my session ID. The query is still being executed. And if I go to the Snow site, let's see what is the status of this query. So for this particular session ID, I got three different queries. The first query is nothing but select star from customer 1 million. When I use the result function from my async job, actually it fires a query on the result scan and the result is given to the Snowpark. Finally, it closes all the queries from this session. So this is how the async job really works under the hood. So if you look into this line number, which is close to 1 million line item, so it is close to 208.4 MB size, and that's why it is not able to display. So this is how you can use collect await and perform different kind of operations. So for example, you have a complex computation which you want to trigger and you don't want to wait for a result, or a large data delete which may take a while, or large update operation which you have fired but you don't want to wait for that. So these are the use cases where you want to have the collect underscore nowait rather than simply calling a collect function. You can download the sample code as well as Snowpark cheat sheet. Refer the description link for the instruction. For any additional queries or specific question, feel free to drop a note in the comment section or drop a note in my Instagram account. Thank you for watching. Happy learning and keep growing.